everybody. Welcome to We Run on Reruns. I'm Amanda, and this is my brother, Eric.
How's everybody doing today?
So, Eric, we left things off with Stranger Things, with Barb being attacked in the pool.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was a really intense opener to the last episode.
It really was. It really was. And I think when we went and looked at the IMDb ratings at the end, we were talking about whether or not this was the better, like which one was the best one. And we were kind of going back and forth. I think, if I remember correctly, last week's was the highest one.
It was the best.
It was the best one so far.
Yes, it was the highest.
And I think that intro really like grips you right away. In fact, even compared to this episode, which is a very good episode. I'm not going to say any of them are bad, I don't think, for a while. This one doesn't have that grip intro, right? It's good, but it doesn't have that big like grip.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, so the last episode, we not only had Barb getting attacked in the pool, Joyce was communicating with the supernatural using the Christmas lights and the alphabet that she painted on the wall. We had Hopper learning that he's being lied to, or that we're all being lied to by the Department of Energy about that camera footage. And a body was dragged out of the quarry, and the boys are watching from afar, and they all believe it to be Will.
And Jonathan's camera was broken.
Yes, and Jonathan's camera. Oh, that jerk Steve just dropped it right on the pavement.
Was near Steve. Early Steve and I are gonna have words. Like, just not a big fan. But anyway, before we dive too much farther into this, though, we just want to thank everybody for following along on our socials, jumping into our Instagram reels and our TikToks and our YouTube shorts and all the other stuff that we're putting out there. So thank you very much for that. If you could take an opportunity to just share one of those with one friend, it would go a really, really long way, whichever one's your favorite. We really appreciate it.
A few things from our last episode about Stranger Things that I wanted to comment on. So a few things, Eric. I remember I brought up Freaks and Geeks during the last episode. And one thing that I was realizing when I commented that it was set in the 70s, it was actually 80 to 81, which I don't know why in my mind I thought it was the late 70s.
Well,
it just struck me like their style. I don't know, but I guess it all blends.
So I think you said it. I didn't fact check you on it because, in all honesty, I guess I thought it was the 80s as well, but it's not as entrenched in 80s as Stranger Things is.
Yeah, and another thing was that I pointed out there was a Tom Cruise poster on the wall, and I said, it was probably from Top Gun, which actually didn't come out until 86. So my guess is it was either super random or it might have been from Risky Business, which was from 83.
I remember you saying that. I don't recall it exactly.
Yeah, it was in Nancy's room.
I remember saying, I remember seeing movie posters, but I could not identify which one it was. But
I don't think it even had the movie name under it. I think it was just like a random shot of Tom Cruise, but just his age. I'm like, that was more Risky Business.
Maybe.
Another thing was we made mention of Holly Wheeler and her age. She was 3 years old at this point in season 1. So wanted to point that out. So little Holly, 3 years old.
There you go.
The next one was, I confirmed that Joyce's lamps, it's all implied that they are all plugged in.
Yes.
So no, when we were thinking even the lights, the ball of lights that she's holding, all the lights are plugged in. Like, it's not saying, the implication is not to be that light is coming from beyond. It's that the lights are flashing from another portion of the universe, but it's not that there's not like it's not electricity that hasn't been generated here. So they're plugged in, but something is communicating through the lights uh that is not
I
from
don't know how to take that.
this
I
dimension.
understand what you're saying.
Like the electricity is there.
The
It's just
electricity
how
is
it's being
already there, so it's
utilized.
not like they
Right.
don't have to generate the electricity. It's
Yes.
just that
So
it's already in existence, which means that
that's
all the lights are
right.
plugged in. Now, I never
That's right.
really doubted that all the lamps in the bedroom were plugged in, because I feel like that would be a thing. Like, why would she have them all around and not be plugged in? The only one I question is the balled up cord of lights.
So
Um,
the
but
reason
but I
why
suppose it might. I mean, I'm not going to judge. If it was
yeah,
plugged in, it's plugged in. I'm sure. I mean, I understand the reasoning behind it. Like, they're not doing something additional on this
right.
plane that they weren't doing on another one. Um, yeah, okay, interesting, interesting.
Yeah,
I'll
so
leave it at
it's
that.
like in my mind, you know how like in the back of entertainment centers there were those big like the hole, the cutout, right? So
Well, yeah.
because you could then so she's in the cabinet because that's where they were plugged in. And it's like she's like bringing the ball of lights in there. That's how then I interpreted it. I'm like, "Oh, that's why she's sitting in there because it's like plugged in and it's still all coiled up." The last piece was that, we were questioning which room she was in with the lamps. It's supposed to
It
be Will's room, and we were right
yeah.
on that. Yeah, I just
Well,
wanted to
I
confirm that.
do.
Yeah,
I I think we worked through that one. Like, that
yeah.
had to be the place. Like, why would she be in Jonathan's room? She's not gonna be sitting in Jonathan's room. Like,
So
but she was clearly I think she figured out the light thing, and then it
yeah.
became like a, well, where would he be? He's gonna be in his own room. Makes sense?
I was only questioning it because do you remember when she first heard the radio go off and the door was closed? This is in the first episode, and she
Uh-huh.
kind of hesitated to go in, and I was thinking, "Oh, does she just think Jonathan is in there, like, playing the music?" And
Oh,
that's
I
why I was
don't
like,
think
"Oh, is that Jonathan's room?"
no, I never took that hesitation that way. I took that more
Okay.
as, like, a nervousness of,
Mm.
well,
Like,
he's
what's in
not
there?
here.
Right.
What is happening here?
Fair.
Like, more like, okay, in this episode, which we will talk about, there is a moment where Jonathan is in his room and you see Joyce go to the door and just kind of like want to knock and want to
Mm.
go in, but she hesitates because she doesn't know what she's going to say. She doesn't know if it's just going to make things worse. She doesn't want to
Yeah,
do that. So she doesn't. And she just carries on.
yeah,
And we'll talk about
yeah.
that later.
So today we are talking about chapter 4 of Stranger Things season 1, The Body. We start things off with the cops in the buyer's home with flashlights. It is really dark and they are just wandering around inside. And then you also see them outside talking with Joyce and Jonathan. Because we remember the last episode ended with Jonathan meeting up with Joyce in the middle of the street, right after Joyce has left their home because there was a monster coming through the wall. Um,
Right.
and I just think right off the bat, like they do such a great job of showing Joyce in shock in this scene with the audio being muffled, right? So it's like
Mhm.
the sound like she was clearly just out of body, right? Like she's just seen this monster coming out of the wall.
Yeah.
She's now learning that Hop is trying to tell her they believe they've found Will's body. She is just completely not really there, even though her body's there.
No,
And
it's like
yeah.
she's looking around, she's taking everything in, she's seeing that someone is talking to her, but she's just
Mhm.
hearing this very muffled sound until all of a sudden she kind of like clicks back in and regains focus on the conversation.
Yeah. And then you really hear then Hop saying, Joyce, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's when she's reacting like, whoever you found is not my boy. It's not Will. I talked to him just a half an hour ago. Right.
Right.
So, she's trying to
And
tell him he was talking through the lights.
Yeah. And I think it's really smart because then after this, Hopper has a really nice moment where he tries to relate to Joyce using his own daughter, Sarah. And Joyce isn't hearing it. She's like, listen, I understand what you're talking about. I understand what you went through, but you're talking about grief. This is death. This is not grief. This is different than grief. She doesn't know how to explain it because how could you possibly if you've seen what Joyce has seen?
Yeah.
And and we move on.
That scene was so rough with Jonathan just leaving the room. He's just so upset because it's like his mom is describing this thing coming out of the wall, and he's just like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah, the wall looks
like,
and the wall looks fine. The wall looks fine.
The wall.
So why would Jonathan think that that's true?
Right. And he just runs to the other room and he's closing the door. He's like, I cannot even deal with this. Like, mom has just lost it, and now I'm alone. Like, I'm sure he feels super alone in this moment where now
Sure
he's
does.
being told that his brother is dead, so right. So
And it's also good that then Hop goes out to the car and just kind of like sits in the driver's seat, looks like he's going to drive away, and then he's like, you know what, I'm just going to stay right here.
And
kind of like puts his hat down.
I love that moment so much because Joy Division's Atmosphere comes on, and it is this perfect moment of music playing perfectly into that scene. And as like the lyrics like don't walk away in silence, and then like Hop just decides he's like trying to figure out like, should I leave? Should I still hang out? Like, I think did he turn off the engine in that? It's like he went to leave and then he turned it off, but it doesn't show him going back in. So
he either turned it off or went to turn it on and then just didn't.
Just didn't. Just
either
sat.
way.
Yeah. And then Joyce just gets the axe out of the shed and just sits on the couch. Yeah.
I don't blame her.
It's like, yeah, no kidding. Like, she's like, you know what? No one is believing me, but I know what I saw, and I'm just gonna hang out here until that thing comes back.
Sits on the couch right under the alphabet with an axe in her hands, just staring, waiting. Because what else are you going to do?
And then we're with the Wheelers watching the news. And Mr. Wheeler is like, hey, asking his wife, should I go down and talk to Michael?
Hold on.
Right?
There you go, Mr. Wheeler.
Yeah.
Good job having your first moment of parenting.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You made it.
On the fence, at least he's considering it. But then the mom is like, no, give him some time because she actually knows him. He'll come to us when he's ready. Right.
And not just that, but she in the last episode asked him. He said there wasn't anything wrong. Yeah. She asked Nancy. She said there wasn't anything wrong. And then what happens at the end of the episode? Nancy came to her. Yeah. So Mrs. Wheeler now has in her back pocket, hey, Mike will come to me when it's ready. Yeah. We've done the good thing. Yeah. They know what to do. They will come to us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And, and then we're with Mike, and he's still really frustrated with 11. He's still yelling at her, which I'm like, all right, like, take it easy, but listen. We're giving Mike a pass here. He just found out that his friend is being hauled out of the quarry, so he is allowed to be very frustrated. Kid's 12 years old. Like, listen.
And 11 kind of
she gets it.
Even 11, who is very much not very vocal at this point, not very emotive at this point. You can tell in her eyes that she knows. Ugh. He's upset. It's okay. I'm going to try to fix this.
Yeah. They have
and she does.
They have this way of communicating with each other really well right from the beginning. And, he's yelling at her, but she then is just playing with the walkie-talkie, which she then is able to tune into. And then they're hearing Will singing Should I Stay or Should I Go by The Clash again, which
Right.
is like they all know, hey, that's Will. Um, and you know, even though Mike is sitting there saying, you know, Lucas was right about you, what you did
Yeah.
sucks, you know, all along he was right. She is still working to fix things. And and she just closes her eyes knowingly, as he's asking, you know, who is that? And then you see her nose start to bleed. So she's clearly working hard at making this connection this whole
Right.
time. And that becomes kind of that symbol of, like, as we saw when she was like fighting off those guys back in the lab, like her nose starts to bleed, she gets exhausted, or when she was tuned into the ham radio. That's just like she's been expending her energy, right?
Yeah. And I just want to take a moment here to say, like, how good an actor is Millie Bobby Brown in this
Yeah,
moment. Like,
I
not
know.
just this scene, but all 4 episodes that we've seen at the age
Yeah.
that she is, to be able to, like, have so much said
Mm.
in just looking with your eyes,
Yeah. The command,
like,
right?
is really impressive. Really
So
impressive.
true.
Because if that was another actor who couldn't deliver
Mm.
just looking, then it goes sideways and the whole show's up in smoke.
Yeah.
But the fact that everyone cares
Yeah.
about 11 so much is
That's
what helps pull this together. And, like, so no one really knows what's going on. We see bits and pieces and we're starting to put a story together, but man, everybody connects with 11 real
uh,
quick, and it's all because of, like, small expressions,
yeah.
not even big things, just little looks
It's so
that they
true.
do. So I don't know if it's all on her. I don't know if it's part the directing or
Yeah.
how they edited it or what, but fantastic on all
All
parts.
around. Yeah, it's so true, because that's like she's hardly had really any words at this point when you think about it. She's had very minimal lines and still conveys so
Yeah.
much emotion. Yeah. Um, and then you have
But
this
then we
like,
get
yeah, I was
yeah,
gonna say this
Jonathan
blip.
waking up and seeing Will for,
Right.
like, a second.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. And the way I view that kind of the similar way to, Nancy thinking she heard Barb
Yeah.
when Barb wasn't there. You know, like almost a glitch in the Matrix. Like, you kinda almost see or hear the upside down when it's not really
Oh, you
there.
mean Joyce woke up, and because Jonathan was waking up Joyce on the couch because she was holding
Jo
the axe. And then
Yeah,
and
okay,
Joyce
I'm sorry.
thought that she,
Jonathan is
yes.
waking up Joyce
Yes.
to see, did I say that
Yeah,
wrong?
she
That's
Joyce
what I
Joyce
yes.
thought she saw Will, but it was really then Jonathan waking her up, because she was like, right, you're right. It was like a blip in the matrix, like,
Right.
hey, this is one of my sons. Oh wait, it's my other son. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
And he's telling her, "Hey, we have to go see Will." And she's like, I'm not going to go do that." Like, he wants to go see him in the morgue, you know, to identify his body. She's not ready to do
Right?
that. Um,
He I don't know how ready he is to do it
well,
either, but he understands that
he
there's, like, a
needs,
logical
yeah.
sequence to start doing things
Yeah.
here, and you have to start.
Yeah.
So, the starting point is identifying the body, and that's where you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
And then this is immediately paralleled in, Karen Wheeler waking up Mike, who doesn't wanna go to school,
Yes.
and I can't blame him.
Uh
Why would he wanna go to school
I
anymore?
mean, honestly, and she's saying, "Hey, you can hang out with me today, you know, if you need anything." Uh because he's then saying, "You
She
know
was
what? I really just want to stay
No.
home. I don't want to go out with
She
you."
she offered to take him to the video store.
Yeah. Yeah, to do something.
That was a building that we used to have around these
That's
places. You know, you could go
yeah.
and pick out a movie
Uh-huh.
that was on the wall.
Yeah.
If there was a tape behind the cover, then they had one. If there
Oh,
wasn't, then you're out of luck.
yeah.
Remember those
I
things?
love that.
I mean,
Spent a lot of time doing that.
Blockbuster
Yeah.
Blockbuster was cool, but we didn't really have a Blockbuster near us, so we just had, like, these homegrown video stores and stuff.
My first memory of renting videos was in the pharmacy section of our grocery store. There was this
That's
little
probably right.
corner where
like a little spindle.
there was a pharmacist, and then there was like this tiny little corner where they would have movies, and that's where we first rented Back to the Future. And it's like, hey, you're not
Great
feeling
movie.
good, got your movie, got your medications, let's go home. And it's like, hey, this is where all the nostalgia, it began there. Oh man,
Yeah.
so good.
Now I remember when I moved out here
Yeah.
into Ohio, I got a Blockbuster card.
Oh, okay. It was
So
still
that puts a
show how
timestamp
long
on
you've been.
things.
Yeah, how long you've been out there.
Yeah,
My gosh.
because then I had that. It wasn't too long, like because I also was starting to get Netflix where they were like sending me
Oh
DVDs.
yeah. Oh yeah.
When it was a mail-in service,
Yep.
Netflix was. Yeah. So that was a bit of a time ago. But anyway,
Yeah.
Mike is offered to go to the video store and get anything he wants.
Yeah, and
Turns
he
it down.
turns it down, and she's like, "Well, if you need anything, you can always call Dad at work." And
Yeah, that's reasonable.
So Mom walks out of the room, and immediately Mike is on his walkie-talkie to Lucas saying, "Hey, this is urgent, dude. Like, if you're, you need to pick up. I'm not going to stop trying to get in touch with you." And he's just like, "Lucas, Lucas, Lucas," repeatedly trying to get to him. And Lucas is saying, "Go away, Mike." He's still really upset. But Mike is really persistent. "I'm not messing around. This is about Will, screw the funeral, get over here and bring Dustin over and out." And he's just telling him, "You guys have got to get over here." Because he's now heard Will on the other end, but he doesn't want to say this, right? And then someone from the state did an autopsy.
From state.
Yes. That is what we're learning now from
very
Hop,
vague.
is that
Yes. Well, it's actually, what was it? It was the wording from like the receptionist at the coroner's office.
Yes.
Because he's asking her where the coroner was.
Where's Gary?
He wasn't there that day because they had to get someone from state in for, Will. Why would we need someone from state for Will?
Yes. Yes. And
sus.
Very sus. And we then see another thing that is just throwing off alarm bells. Listen, I've never, thank God, had to identify a body in the morgue. Never had to do that. But it did strike me that they're like across the room behind the glass. Like I've only seen these, like, these scenes through shows, through movies, and usually it's like they're right there with the body. They pull the blanket back, they say, "Hey, this is who we have here," and the person identifies the body. In this scene, they have Will's body like 15 feet into this room, and then Joyce and Jonathan are like behind glass, and they like roll back just the top of the sheet, and they're like, "Hey, is this him?" You know what I mean? And not, well, they don't even really ask. It's more like, "Hey, here's your son." And Jonathan just takes one glimpse and is obviously, because you're so distraught too, you're having to identify a body. Like, I can't even imagine being in that scene.
So the only times I again have never had to do this in actual real life, but the times I have seen it in a movie where they do this behind glass is in like one of these movies where they feel the body might be contaminated with something. And so the person in the room is wearing like a hazmat suit and, like there's a whole thing. This is not that, but they treat it that way. And so it is a little weird. And then Joyce is asking
the birthmark
to see a birthmark.
Right. And then we have this really, to me, this really important scene between Hop and Jonathan, where Hop is talking to Jonathan and John is sharing that he's really worried about his mom's anxiety becoming worse. And Hop is kind of like assuring him, well, actually, Jonathan is sort of assuring Hop that everything is going to be okay, but Hop is then confirming, like, she's really tough. she is, and they're going to get through this. And you could just tell that Hop genuinely cares a lot about their family and that he wants to see them through this. He's not just going to give up and leave them alone on this. Like he wants to be there for him.
No, that's and he also he's got the
Yeah.
scent.
Yeah.
Somebody wasn't at the
That's right.
autopsy that should have been
Yeah.
there. They know there are not
Yeah.
not true statements being told from the Department of Energy. They've got all these microfiche articles that they were looking at. Like something is not adding up, and Hop
Yeah.
knows it.
Yeah. And then at that moment, then Joyce comes flying out of the room and she's like, I don't know what you think that is in there, but that is not my son. And she's just like, screaming, and then she just runs
Yeah.
out of there. And it's like, oh, okay, like this is then going off the rails, but she feels passionately about it and she's not hiding it. So she's like, hey, I know what I know, and she's not gonna tiptoe around that. Um
No, and then we get we pivot to a very brief
mm,
scene here with Steve. It's actually Steve's only scene in the show, I think,
that's right.
where
In kind of the alley.
Nancy is they're like yeah, the two of them are just
Yeah.
talking, where Nancy is talking to Steve about what she saw at his house. And she's like, was a guy in a mask or something? And Steve, the upstanding
My
gentleman
God.
at this point that he is most concerned that Nancy is going to involve the
Mhm.
cops. And if they involve the cops, then they're gonna have to question everybody. And then Steve's dad is gonna know that they had a party, and he's gonna get in big trouble. And listen, as a
Yeah.
teenager, I get it. I get that that's the concern. But you also have multiple people in the town suddenly missing, and Nancy has seen some random person running through the woods
Mhm.
that she thinks may or may not be wearing a mask or
Yeah.
something. And you're just gonna be worried about the party at your
Yeah.
house? Like, come on,
Yeah.
Steve. We're
Yeah.
better than
Steve
that.
is
Let's move on. But
Yeah, he's really worried about what his dad is gonna say, which kind of makes you
it
wonder, like, we don't
and
really know what his parents are like,
no, but
but still. Yeah.
so again, this is a
Yeah.
rewatch, right? And I know that Steve has a huge role
Yeah.
going forward, but it's moments like this that made me go, this dude's not even gonna be in the
No,
show.
right.
Like he's not a piece
Right.
of this. No, he is
Yeah.
a piece of it, but he really seems like a character that's being phased out
Yes. And
quickly.
he has quite the redemption story. So that's
Oh
yeah,
my
it's
gosh,
it's
does he
really
ever?
right. Like looking at this now, it's like, who is this dude? He's just gonna fade off into the distance because he's such a jerk. But
Yeah.
yeah,
He he rallies at the end
he
of this
does.
season, but then in future
Yeah.
seasons, it's really
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
Anyway,
so and then we have Jonathan um in the street with Joyce, right? So he's
yes.
now gone out after his mom because she's bolted out of the morgue, and he's like, "Mom, we have to deal with this. We have to deal with the funeral." Like Jonathan, he's just like, "We have to be in this moment, we have Will in there, and like what are we going to do?" He feels so alone, right? And she's just like, "For who? For that thing in there?" She's trying to explain
Mm,
to him. She knows she sounds crazy. But and she knows that all of these people around her are hearing her. This is in the middle of the day. There's all these
yes.
cars around and people just walking by. And she's just telling him, like, I heard him. He talked to me. Will is calling to me. And I'm going to bring him home. Right. And then she just walks
Like
off. Yeah.
she understands that she
Yeah.
sounds insane and is adamant that what she is saying is
Yeah.
still true. And Jonathan is trying to confront her about how insane
Yeah.
she sounds.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, yeah, how do you argue with
Yeah.
crazy, right? You're trying to make the argument that, hey, did you know you sound crazy? And your response to the person's response
Yeah.
to that is,
I know.
yeah, I know I sound crazy. I'm
Yeah.
still right.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going
Yeah.
to do with that? Like, there's not a whole lot to do at
Yeah,
that point.
yeah, and then after that, Jonathan's just sort of like shows over to
Which
the people in
which
the
does
street. Yeah.
Yeah, and going back to what you were saying at the beginning, this makes Jonathan feel all by himself, right? He's got no one in this now because mom is off the deep end and committed to being off the deep end. Will is legitimately gone. He's got nothing.
Yeah. And then we're back with the boys in the basement. Somehow Elle is channeling Will, and Mike is trying to explain this to the boys. And Lucas is just saying, do you guys not see what I saw? He's dead, like he's trying to convince them. Lucas is, I think, always trying to be the voice of reason too. He's like, guys, like he's gone. Like, we need to deal with that. And, Mike is just saying, I just know that Will is alive and we have to find him. And the boys, then are like, what?
I mean, Mike is essentially acting like Joyce. He's convinced that Will is out there, and Lucas is acting like Jonathan, where it's like, I saw the body. Okay, guys, like, we know this is where it is. It's right here. We need to start taking steps. And Dustin, because in this scenario, there's 3 of them. Dustin, as a D&D player, is kind of on the idea of like, it's possible.
He's kind of in the middle.
That it's out there. I mean, well, and if I'm Dustin, I'm looking at this going, we've also got this girl here in the basement that has mind control powers. Like, I'm going to suspend belief a little bit that if she knows how to channel him and Mike believes it, that maybe we're not the ones that are wrong.
Yeah. And they think then, well, we need a radio that is even more powerful than our walkie-talkies. And where can we find that? Oh, with the ham radio back at school. So they then decide to put makeup and all these other like more girly clothes on Elle to try to make her fit in, which, oh my goodness, this scene is great, where they're dressing her up. And this then is another callback to E.T. I don't know if you're
thinking. It is.
And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, remember where they put the wig on E.T.
Put the wig on,
the dress,
and they put the dress on. I will say, okay, I don't know how to do makeup, but Mike seemed to have a pretty good grip on it.
Right?
Like, he was real
better than I.
He was like soft with it. I'm like, I don't even know what he's doing right now. I don't know if that's right or wrong or what is
hidden
going
talent.
on.
Yeah.
But he wasn't like, just slathering it on like a paintbrush. Like he seemed to have a reasonable touch.
He was better than Ross with Rachel on Friends.
Facts. That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
He's trying to put the eyeshadow on.
I mean, how many times have we seen in shows male character trying to do makeup for female character and it goes horribly wrong? Meanwhile, when Elle walks out of the room with the dress and the wig on, she's got like this very muted like subtle makeup that's very very tasteful. It's like, what happened here? And maybe he goes into makeup artistry.
Maybe. And I love how Mike he sees her then. He's like, oh, you look pretty good.
Good.
And
good.
And then she repeats that back to him. It's so cute. She's like, I feel pretty good. And she's looking at herself in the mirror, and it's just a really cute scene. And then then we're back with the guys that I just call the hazmat dudes. Back at the department.
Yeah, I always refer to it as like hard cut to the lab. I wrote down.
Yeah.
I was like, we're in this scene where like we're getting dressed and there's makeup and there's wigs and there's like boom into the lab. Dudes in scuba suits with a chain getting attached to them. It's like, holy moly.
This scene is intense. You have the one guy who is getting tethered, like he has the beaner clip like hooked on to his suit.
This is no carabiner clip. This is like from a tow truck.
Well, yeah, okay. That's a good point. No, it's so true. It really is. Oh my
It's
God.
not like you're
No.
like hanging a garden pot
Well,
somewhere
no,
or
but
something.
carabiner clips though, I mean the real ones are actually meant to
The
hold you from
real
a
the
mountain.
yeah,
So I'm just saying, like it is meant
yeah,
to hold.
yes.
But
Well,
to your point, you're right. This thing was heavy duty, and they have this like
yes.
crazy, like this wired cord. I mean, they are ready for something really intense to go
Yeah.
down here.
Cable.
Yes, a
Cable cord.
cable.
Like
And Dr. Brenner, the papa, the gray-haired dude, is saying, "Good luck in there, son," to this guy that he's clipping up, and I'm
yeah.
like, "Oh, all right." And in my notes I just have, "Yeah, this isn't gonna go well." Like I didn't really remember
Right.
exactly how this went down, but you could just tell. Oh yeah, this is not good. Not good.
Well, the essential like he gets the clip on. I keep calling them scuba suits because it looks like a
Yeah,
more
it's
active
true.
version of a hazmat suit.
Yeah.
But then he is then entering into the crack that is in this living wall.
Yes. This.
Meanwhile, the chain or the cable is dragging behind him.
Uh-huh.
And we're talking about, this is what I'm saying, like a tow truck. I mean, this is a
Yeah.
monster clip with cable that is like on telephone poles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is not small stuff.
No.
We are intensely tied up,
No.
which just gives the illusion of what is in
What?
this thing.
Right.
What is on the other side of this wall?
And what did these guys know already about this, right? Like they
Had to know
clearly
something.
know something, and this thing is kind of groaning,
the first-
breathing, like
Yeah.
it's not
This
good.
isn't the first time they've done this.
No.
They know that they should attach the clips now.
Yeah, but so, at
Like,
the same
they've
time
learned
though,
this.
they still got someone to volunteer to go in this thing. So I'm like, I don't
Volunteer, force, whatever. We don't know.
Yeah. So because he kind of
For the
reached
love of
in,
science.
he reached in at first, and then he's just in there. Then he just dove right in. So I'm like, oh, okay. And then you have
Yeah,
another.
just kind of walked his way through, and that was it.
And that was it. And then it makes another
And
really
then we're
quick.
boom,
Yes.
back to the school.
Yeah, back with
It's like, what an it.
I know.
These lab cuts are harsh.
It really is. And we're with Nancy then getting called out of class. She's kind of like daydreaming, looking out the window. And then the cops are questioning Nancy about, hey, what kind of argument did you have with Barb, right? Because they're now looking for Barb. And, then they're questioning her about what she saw outside of Jonathan's house. Oh, not Jonathan's, I'm sorry, Steve's house. You saw a bear? Because she's kind of trying to, I think, make it sound less crazy, right? So she's saying, oh, it might have been a bear. And
well, yeah, she's uncertain of what it is this whole time.
And I think it took Barb is what she's saying, but they're saying, well, we didn't find a bear. We didn't find anyone back there.
They said they didn't find the
and
car.
Her car. Yes.
And that was the moment that you go, oh, wait a minute. We saw the car.
Yeah.
Like, we saw that.
Yeah.
Nancy saw that. They showed us that she found the car. And if you're not finding a car, something is up.
And I'm thinking it has something to do with Dr. Brenner, right? So like,
well, and just how awkward is this for Nancy? Because the cops start asking a lot of pointed questions about what was going on with her and Steve.
Yes.
And she's claiming that she was going upstairs and changing her clothes, and they're going back and forth. Well, was that before or after you took your clothes off? And her mom is sitting there the whole time. Awful.
Yeah, really bad. And, and she's just trying to drive home the fact that, listen, Barb wouldn't just skip town. She's trying to keep them on task. Like, listen, Barb is missing. She wouldn't just leave. Like, where is she? And she saw the car.
This is not about me getting my clothes changed. This is about Barb. But the cops are making it about what they know, which is she's still there. And she's one of the only people that was there. So what else you got? They don't have a whole lot to go on, to their credit. So you got to ask questions what you know. But whew,
I know.
not a good moment for Nancy.
Not good. And then we have a good scene with Hop talking to Gary, the coroner, about, hey, who is this group that just claimed jurisdiction? Like these people from the state. What's going on here? And he's like, well, these are just state troopers. They think it's an isolated incident. Um, and then in the background, they're seeing it on the news as well with these other cops
Mhm.
saying the same thing, like it's just an isolated incident. And that's kind of, it's just really a brief snapshot where you understand this coroner was just kind of pushed out, right? Like he normally would always be the one to look over any bodies in this area, and why all of a
Right.
sudden when they have, and that's also the weird thing, it's like for a town that sees no issues, the moment that there is a death, all of a sudden their coroner can't handle it. Like what's going on here, right?
Like, that's the one thing he's there for. Like, this is why he's the coroner. And yet, for this death, they've got to bring someone in. And this is not a hardened criminal. This is not someone who's been a suspect of anything. This is just a boy that was lost. Seems weird.
And then we're with Elle in school with the boys in her
Oh,
new clothes and hair.
such a good little scene here outside the AV room.
Yes.
Um,
Um,
when they're trying to get into to see the radio, they want to get Elle to the radio, and they kind of like sneak in a back door of the school, and they get down close to the AV room, and they realize it's locked, and they can't get in. And of course, Dustin, because that's what he's doing these days, trying to get Elle to use her powers. He's like, "Hey, can you open it?" Not a
right.
bad shout, right? Like,
Hey,
hey, might as well.
why
Can you
not?
bust this thing open?
Yeah.
And just then the teacher rolls around the corner, and they
Yeah.
have this he's trying to say, listen, guys, we've got this big assembly for Will. Um, it would really be important that you guys are there to see this, to go through the whole thing. Let's go down there, and here, I'll give you the keys. And he throws him the keys. Like, you guys can spend the rest of the day in the AV room, but let's all head down to the assembly. And then he's introducing himself to Elle. And this is a very quick timing, like, scene where they're all like
Yes.
answering quick questions, trying to add to the story a little bit.
I know.
And he my favorite of all of them is he asks Elle, well, where are you from? And she goes, a bad
I
place. And Dustin's like, Sweden.
I know.
They're
Yes.
like, well, it's really cold there. It's like real cold, like 10 degrees below zero. Like,
Yes.
yeah,
'Cause
okay.
Elle is not gonna like fabricate the truth. She's just saying a bad place, like deadpan. And it is, yes, they're trying to quickly
Uh,
recover. And I
but
also like,
they
yeah.
paint a decent picture of her being one of Mike's relatives from out of town who's only there
Eleanor.
for the funeral.
Yes.
Eleanor. They could have just stuck with Elle. There wouldn't have
I
been any problems with that.
I know. I know. Yeah, it's but they're they I think Dustin also has a line where he's asking, "Well, what do you guys need? Like, are you okay?" And he just says, "We need alone time to cry." And he's
Yes,
just
he's
trying
trying
to
to figure out how to get the keys, and
how
he
to
does
yes.
successfully.
Yeah.
But then they also they walk with the teacher, they open the door to the assembly. The entire school is already sitting there,
Oh.
and Dustin's like, abort. Let's get
Mhm.
11 out of this joint. This is a problem. But
Yeah.
they all walk into the lion's den and take a seat in the assembly, listening.
Yeah.
Well, and we'll pick that up because then we go to Mom and Nancy.
Yeah, and Nancy is not pleased. She's, going back into their home, and her mom is just basically focused on the fact where she knows that Nancy is lying about what happened with Steve, right? And
Well, she's concerned
Nancy's,
that she was lying to the cops too.
well, true. Very true. And she's like, what is going on here? And Nancy is like, listen, something terrible happened to Barb and no one is hearing me, right? And and she is just so upset because that's what she's trying to focus on.
She does come clean about what happened that night.
Yep.
She tells her what happened.
She does.
And then it's like, but why isn't everybody focusing on Barb?
Yes.
And so
it's not about that.
Again,
right?
Mrs. Wheeler, that's right. It's not about what she did. It's about where is Barb. And so Miss Wheeler is trying to like coax her to have a conversation.
Yeah.
But we're not going to get one. She's too upset at the moment. So she goes upstairs. She's like, I just want some time alone or something. And she storms off upstairs. And here we go again. Hard cut right to the Department of Energy.
Well, no, before that, though, when Nancy goes upstairs, I think, unless I'm mistaken, isn't that when she's on her bed and she's taping together?
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, she's then on her bed. She
right.
takes the picture pieces out. So these are the shredded up photos that Jonathan had taken. And she lays them out on the bed and she starts taping them together. And then you see there is something behind Barb. So again,
there
Jonathan,
is a figure in the picture. Yeah.
Hero, right?
My apologies. I jumped ahead because I have in my notes, Nancy confronts Jonathan about a picture coming up. But she had already put it together.
Yes. Yeah. So she put it together and then, then she needs to work with Jonathan later about like, how do we zoom in on this and like really get
how do we fix this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
but at this point, she's just kind of taped it all together.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is like the most impressive tape job that's ever been with Scotch tape.
I know.
Right?
I know.
I mean, this thing, when she holds it up, it's like a perfectly good picture.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Anyway, she holds that thing up, looks at it, sees the figure, which I'd also like to say, taping the entire picture together, not relevant for being able to see the picture. The thing was on one slice of the ripped up picture.
I know.
We didn't need to tape this together.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, what does she need to get like the light in the top left corner?
She had like the left side of the house, then flipped it upside down. I'm like, what are you doing?
It was all on one square.
Over here. It's right here. We see it.
Listen. It was pretty crazy.
Maybe Nancy wasn't the best puzzle solver. It was only a 6-piece puzzle.
I know.
Like, let's put it together. But anyway.
But then there is a hard cut.
And now we get the hard cut.
Yeah.
Right back to the lab. As they are essentially, stuff's going down with Shepard, who's the guy who's on the inside.
Yeah.
And they're trying to communicate with him. Things are going sideways. And they try to start reeling back in Shepard. But then all of a sudden, the cable just starts thrashing wildly all over the place and then just falls limp.
Yeah, you hear him being like, there's something in here, pull me out. Like, he's like screaming, pull me out, pull me out.
He's screaming.
It's bad.
And so eventually, once the cable is down, they're able to successfully reel it back in. And all that is there is the hinge.
And it was bloody.
That's it. All wasn't pretty.
It was bloody.
But it was a gross looking hinge.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was all bloodied or if it was just the purpley goo from the other side. We're not really sure what's on that side yet.
I thought it looked bloody. And there was like,
it could be.
And there was like a chunk of something. I don't know if that was him. There was like
I think it looked like to me it was like the U of the hinge with this flat like which would have been the belt going around.
Okay. I'm like, is that
a
part of
steel
him?
belt on the back of it.
Okay.
No. That's what I'm saying. I think it was just the hinge that came flipping back through because which means the entire suit and person have been disconnected.
That's right.
And that's that.
Yeah.
So you need a better hinge system.
Yeah, it seems like Shepard is no longer with us.
No, I feel confident in that.
Yeah.
I would also say this is not the spot to go fishing.
No.
Because what happens if you reel something back?
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Yeah, it's definitely a problem.
No. No.
I love this next scene with the kids at the assembly So
Yes.
basically we have all of a bunch of kids who really don't know Will. And they are, all supposed to be sharing in this moment of grief and loss together. But you have a bunch of people who are either, you know, trying to, I think, empathize and sympathize, but then you also have the jerks and those kids that were being really mean and bullies to the boys in the first couple episodes,
Well,
and 11 knows it. These are the kids that Mike has told her about, and so
yep,
11 just looks over at Mike and she's like, these are the mouth breathers, right? Like,
like mouth breather.
mhm. And
Got it.
and so when they see these boys laughing, like literally making fun of this moment that's supposed to be just, for the
This
people who are
this
grieving.
this is why I understand that schools need to get out a message to everybody quickly sometimes. And the message that they were trying to send at this assembly was like, listen,
Mhm.
we've got grief counselors here.
Yeah.
We've got all sorts of people if you need to talk to somebody. But when you do it in bulk,
Yeah.
you end up having these kids who are going to do these things
Mhm.
where they feel as though they're hidden in the crowd and they can just make jokes, and then everybody around them is hearing it. And the people who really need the grief or are great friends of this person are now having to listen to these two kids act like idiots the whole time.
So then the kids are walking away and Mike is like, "Hey, Troy," so one of these kids is Troy. And he's like, "I saw you laughing and that is really messed up." So Mike, I feel like, is, because 11's there, he's feeling like, "Hey, I want to be more confident and I want to stand up for myself, and now Will is gone and I want to also stand up for the loss of my friend,
Yeah,
and
I
really
don't I
stand
don't
up to
even
these
know if it's
guys."
all just because Eleven is there or because he feels like, hey, this is a moment that is incredibly important and I'm standing up for it. And
Yeah.
good for Mike.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah,
for
that's
Mike,
right.
actually.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's a big deal because I get the impression he's never done that before, right? Like he's never stood up to these guys, especially in a physical way, right?
yeah.
Because then
Oh no.
he shoves Troy, right? Like he shoves him hard and he knocks him down. And uh and
Oh,
then and
we
then
get
11,
we
yes.
get
Oh,
this is Eleven's best scene so far
I
through
love this.
4 episodes, where
Yeah.
she goes full on like X-Men mode and is just
Yes.
in the background over the shoulder of Mike, like death gaze locked in, freezing Troy so he can't
Mhm.
move, and
Yes.
then essentially using her mind to make him pee his pants in front of the
Well,
entire school.
yeah, I don't know if do you think she used her mind to do that? Or do you think because she made him freeze that he was so scared that he just
Excellent
peed
point.
himself?
I
You know what
like
I
to think
mean?
that Elle did it. I hear your argument, though.
You know what I mean?
It
Like,
is
to me,
a
I was
fair
thinking he
point.
is just like literally peeing himself because he is like, what is going on? I cannot move at
You
all.
you
Like,
you make a fair argument, but I like my story better where Elle makes him do it. So,
yeah.
hey, listen, to each their own. You interpret that
But
how you will.
yeah. And
But I like to envision a more aggressive 11 in that stance
so
because this is someone who's attacking her one friend, one
she
of three friends.
is, and then I love too when after she like wipes her face and looks super badass, like she's just like, "That's right, I did that," and then walks away.
What
Like,
gets her nose too.
yes,
Wipes it
yes,
and just is but like just kind of just walks off like, yeah, no problem, let's go. Like
yeah,
we're out of here. Let's go to the
exactly,
radio.
exactly. It was just such like a badass moment. I was like, "Oh my
Awesome.
god, that's so
That
great." Yes,
like she looked awesome in that
yes,
moment. It was
uh-huh.
very cool. Very cool moment.
And then Mike's
And
like,
now
"Wow."
you if nothing else, Lucas has got to be going,
uh,
okay.
okay, all
Okay.
right, yeah,
Okay.
all right. This
Yeah.
is the real deal.
Let's check some things out.
Uh huh. Yeah,
This
yeah. I know. I was so focused on Elle and Mike in that scene, I didn't really catch the glimpses of the other boys, but I'm sure it
Oh,
was
I
great.
didn't either. But
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, if you are
Oh,
Lucas and you are so practical about
oh
everything
my
that's
God.
happened so far, you've got to look at that and go, whoa,
Okay.
let's maybe take a second look at some of these things. I'm not saying that he's going to do that, but he's got to at least think it a little.
I think so. And then we take another hard turn back into a scene with Jonathan picking out a casket. And this scene seemed definitely a little bit weird to me because then Nancy is like showing up as Jonathan is like in this really like unimaginable moment, right? Like he's alone there because his mom didn't want to go with him. She's in denial or she doesn't want to believe. She's seeing, that Will is still alive. And so Jonathan is there alone picking out a casket for his brother and Nancy shows up.
Well, Nancy said, your mom said you would be here.
Yes.
So,
but it's like, but she's been wanting to talk about the photos, so it's all just very like, oh
right.
gosh.
But it implies, all this does is show that Jonathan is continuing to work down the practical side of things while Joyce is not. Yeah. And Nancy is now showing up wanting to talk about the photo. And this is just, so it implies that she also went to find him at his house first and he wasn't there.
Yes.
Which, small details. But we get to this point where they're talking about the picture, which is kind of a big deal.
It's a very big deal because she's showing him the photo and she's, there 1 second and then she was gone is what Jonathan is saying about Barb in the photo. She's like, listen, like I saw her there on the diving board and then I looked up and she had vanished. And Nancy is confessing to Jonathan that she feels like she saw this weird man, behind the house. And they're then making this huge connection where it's like, hey, this man you saw, what did he look like? It's almost like he didn't have a face. And they're realizing that's the same guy that like my mom is describing coming out of the wall. Yeah. And Jonathan is realizing maybe mom isn't crazy. Maybe if she's feeling like Will is alive, then maybe Barb is alive too.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
Nancy starts saying that like it's almost as if he didn't have, and Jonathan finishes it. Like didn't have a face, and you see like all of what you just said is spot on, but you don't hear it. No. You just see it in Jonathan.
Yes.
That he is like, hold on a second. We've now got two people seeing random creatures that don't have faces. That's the consistent description. Yeah. Something is in fact up. So now we've got the boys who have like an audio connection and they've got 11 still stored away that nobody's actually seen. Jonathan is starting to buy into Joyce. Yeah. Nancy is starting to buy into this Joyce and she doesn't even know what Joyce is doing.
Right.
But she's connecting with her. Hopper's on the trip. Something's up. Something is up. And we're trying to get there.
Yeah. And then we do have Hopper in the next scene at the Hideaway bar. Talking to this guy. And at first it's like, what is he doing here? Like he's saying, I recognize you to this guy that he's just trying to strike up a conversation and you don't really know what he's getting at yet.
But he's clearly trying to not be a cop.
Yes. He's hiding his identity for sure.
Yeah, he's just Joe Schmo at the bar talking about what was on the news.
Yes. And this guy's like, you might have seen me on TV. I found that buyer's boy. So it's like, okay, so now we get kind of where he's getting at. And Hop is saying, well, that's a state-run quarry, right? And this guy says, well, the Sattler Company owns it. And and Hop is like, "Well, why are you lying to me, man? Like, what's going on here? Like, that's and he's just saying, I'm a concerned citizen. And this guy is driving home. The kid is dead. End of story. And it's like, who would say that? That's what I've written down. I'm like, why would you say the kid is dead? End of story. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you need to justify
that when you say end of story, that
right?
means
Something.
oh no.
It's
Oh
not,
no.
there is a lot more.
That's beginning of story.
Uh-huh. Exactly. And I then love so much of that it cuts to this next scene where Hop is just like kicking this guy's ass outside of the bar. Like he's just pummeling him. And it's like,
just
okay.
Never gave him a chance to breathe.
He's
just
like, yep.
Absolutely whomping on this guy.
Yep. And he's just like the guy though is saying, you're gonna get us both killed, right? Like this guy is paranoid. Like there is something else going on, and that's when Hopper turns around and there is just this car that's just sitting there lurking in the distance, and it just peels out. And it's like, wait, what is going on here?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, like this scene reminded me, I don't know, do you know who Ron Funches is? He's a comedian.
No, I don't know. I don't think I know him.
So here's the funniest thing. I've seen him just do stand-up at random places here and there. I know he was in the Trolls movies because my kids liked them when they were younger.
Nice.
But it's funny. He does this scene, or he does this bit rather. I'm going to try to paraphrase. And he is talking about conspiracy theories. And he says something along the lines of, so you don't believe in any conspiracy theories? That's a pretty bold stance to take. Like, you think the government is just batting 1,000, telling us everything all the time, never missed anything? It's like, listen, the government is put in charge of keeping control of all of its people. I'm a dad who has one son, and I have to keep control of him. And I lie to him all the time.
Oh, that's good.
So,
yeah.
Any of these scenes where we've got like, oh, the state run, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Something's up. They're not telling us anything. Let's go.
Yeah.
Hopper's on the case.
And then we're back with Joyce playing the and just saying,
should I stay
talk
or
to
should
me?
I go?
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's
great song, by the way.
She is. It is such a good song, and she's just trying so hard to get Will to talk to her, but she has not heard.
Very brief scene, by the way.
Very brief. Literally, that's it.
Less than 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's all I have to say about that scene. Yeah.
Yeah, because then they go to Elle in front of the ham radio, having like a flashback where Papa basically wanted her to listen to, or he wanted her to basically, using her mind, listen to somebody else somewhere in the lab or in the Department of Energy who was reading words.
Yes.
And she was supposed to repeat the words back to him. And she was concerned that she had to hurt him. She's like, nope, I just want you to tell me what he says. She's like, okay. And she kind of like focuses, closes her eyes, starts like bearing down on it. And you think she's going to talk, but no, she gets the radio in the room to use his voice and speak through the radio and start telling all the words that he's saying them as he's saying, which then uses, like, we get the flashback to the ham radio where Elle gets some audio.
Yes.
And it's a weird combination of audio because the boys are hearing this bang, 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 bang on the radio with Elle. Meanwhile, flash back and forth.
Yeah.
Joyce is hearing this in the wall.
Yes. That's
so
right.
She's over at the wall trying to see what's through the wall, and the boys are hearing it on the radio, and she's looking through the wall, and then what happens? She sees Will.
That's right. Yeah, because it's like Elle is channeling him, and then Will starts coming through the radio, but then also it's like he's right there with Joyce.
Like, the
Oh my
radio
goodness.
is just
like a conduit.
Like, the audio is just near where he is.
Yes.
And she's just amplifying what noise there is in that area.
Yeah.
And so they are hearing this all on the radio.
It's wild. Yeah, this scene is wild, where Joyce is then ripping the wallpaper off the wall, and you see this like fleshy glowing. It's like it's like that same material that you see where that guy reached through and then went through the wall, and then
where Shepard went through the wall. It's the same type of like filmish.
Yeah.
And purpley glow.
But then you like see Will is right there. Like you then see his face.
But you can see him.
Yes, you can see him standing there, and Joyce so he's basically like, it seems like he's in the living room with Joyce. I can't even imagine what that was like for her as his mom. She's, he's right there, and he's saying it's so dark, and it's cold. Like he just wants to be there with her. And his mom, Joyce is just like, I will find you, but right now you need to run, right? Like she knew something evil is back there. You need to leave, because she could tell if he stood there, he was going to be in danger. So she's telling him, run, go hide. And then he leaves. He listens to his mom.
So then he does. He takes off, and that's when she goes. And of course,
oh my God,
what's sitting in that room? The axe is sitting in that room because she already got it from earlier. And she starts chopping her way through the wall, and essentially bangs through it enough to literally just get a hole to the outside.
Yep.
Nothing there in between, just straight through to nothing.
And not just.
And that's when
it's the front of their house.
It's the front of the house. And then flash back though to the school, and Elle kind of collapses from trying to hold the radio together. So the guys, all three of them, pick her up and just kind of carry her off.
Yeah, the radio even, I think, did it catch on fire? They had to like use a fire extinguisher. It got crazy.
They had to get a fire extinguisher to blow a fire out. She also like blew a light, which is what she did in the flashback as well, like a light burst.
Yes.
When she was able to connect.
Yeah.
So
it's like it expends all this energy within her.
Yeah, and like she's stealing all the energy from the room and using it somehow.
Yeah. And then we're with Jonathan and Nancy in the dark room. And Nancy's trying to understand, like, hey, like, I think she's also just trying to make small talk, because as they're like dealing with this really crazy circumstance, and she's like, asking him about his photography. Have you been doing this for a while? And, Jonathan's kind of explaining, I'd rather observe people than talk to them. I know it's weird, but sometimes people don't really say what they're actually thinking. So he feels like he can, understand people better through his camera.
Yeah. That was a really poignant line from Jonathan, to say that sometimes people don't say what they really think. When you capture the right moment, it says more. And that is really like the mark of a photographer, right? This is a guy that genuinely loves what he's doing here. And taking those pictures of people, he even admitted, he's like, I shouldn't have taken that picture of you. He knew that was not right, but at the same time, he's not viewing it as that in the moment. And so, while I still like to go back and give Jonathan a hard time for, this is a creepy look, man. Like, what you're doing here is not cool. On the whole, when you hear this episode and you specifically hear him say this, it does change the way you look at that scene two episodes ago.
Yeah, so true. And then it's like they're developing this picture, and they see this figure in the picture, and
what she sees in the photo, she's saying, is the same thing that she saw in the woods outside Steve's house.
But then Jonathan is saying, my mom, I said that she was crazy, and if Will is alive, then maybe Barb could be alive too. And it's like they're kind of realizing
that's
oh
now
my God.
him actually.
Yeah.
He's now like speaking it into existence now. Like, oh my God, maybe my mom's not crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I love that scene. Yeah.
And then pile on the awkward or the weirdness. Hopper breaks into the coroner's office very smoothly, by the way, gets through the receptionist, no problem, gets to the end. There's some like, rent-a-cop sitting there. He's like, oh, I can't let you in. He's like, oh, well, you have to go up and you're supposed to be part of so-and-so squad right now. He's like, I don't know who that is. He's like, I'm just gonna have to punch you.
Yes.
Like kind of
right
like
in the face.
Thinks, do I have another line? Do I have another line I can give him? No, I don't. I'm just gonna have to knock you out. And he lays him out and then walks in, finds the body, and in short,
oh my God,
kind of like is like, well, this is what we got to do. We got to figure this out. And he takes a knife and cuts through the chest of the body and starts pulling out cotton.
Oh my God. This scene, Eric, I'm like, as he's taking out the switchblade, because you could tell he's second guessing. He's like,
he is second guessing
this decision.
Do I
do this? But I've got to do it. He's like, he just knows he has to do it, right? Like he knows something is wrong.
Not only does he have to do it, he has to do it right then. Like, when else is he going to get an opportunity? He's lucky the body's still there to begin with. But he gets in at this moment. He knows, like, if they give it another day, that body's gone. And he just flips open the knife, cuts through.
That cotton.
And it is like a doll.
It is a doll. Like, are you kidding? Because you're...
A really good looking one. Like, it's a really very visually accurate.
You're looking at this thing, you're like, it looks like Will. Like, it really does look like him. Like, you can understand where Jonathan from afar is like, yeah, that's my brother. I mean, someone went to great lengths to make this thing.
Mm-hmm. Spared no expense.
And then we're back at the buyer's house where Lonnie shows up and sees the hole in the wall that Joyce has axed through the house. And you have this brief moment where it looks like he's consoling Joyce. And
He is. Give him some credit. I know you hate Lonnie, but give him a little bit of credit.
We'll get to that.
He is there consoling her.
As to why he's there.
I mean, we don't know. That's all he has in this episode. He's there for about 5 seconds. He didn't do anything horrible.
And then the final scene, is with Hop at the Department of Energy, cutting through the fence. He's like on the gate.
Yeah, he's not at the door. He's not at the door. He's coming in.
He's coming in.
He's coming in unannounced, and he just takes the cutters, snaps through the fence. Credits roll. Yeah. And this is kind of the first episode where you go, okay, we are getting somewhere. Right. We're starting to put some puzzle pieces together here. Not as good as Nancy did, but, the story is starting to unfold a little bit here.
And that's how we close out this episode. So good. So I already made mention of a couple of the songs. I know we talked about Atmosphere by Joy Division. I love the placement of that song so much at the beginning of the episode. I just love that song also. It's so good.
It's a really good spot for it too.
And it is just the perfect emotion for it.
Yeah.
And again, we also have The Clash, Should I Stay or Should I Go?
Of course.
Comes back in. And then there's also Color Dreams by The Deep, when Hopper buys that other guy the beer at the bar before questioning him about the quarry.
Yeah, I couldn't have told you that, but that sounds right. I don't know that song as well as the others, so I couldn't identify it if you asked me to. But there was music playing for sure. It's a bar, so there's music playing in the background. The TV is playing. Yeah. I think at that point I was mostly focused on what is Hop doing here? Because he is talking not like he's actively not being a cop. So what does he think this guy knows?
Yes. And a few just fun facts. I know I already pointed out how, you know, the parallel between E.T. And the show when she's dressed up had the boys give her the makeover, she has the wig on. And then, you know, it's a callback to Poltergeist, really, when Joyce is communicating with Will through the wall. There is a very similar moment in the 1982 Poltergeist film where they are communicating through the wall. Also, another callback to The Shining when Joyce is axing through the wall, with that iconic scene with Jack Torrance as he's like axing through. Definitely totally different context of both of those, but you can see where like
she didn't have as good a catchphrase on the other side of the wall when she broke through. But
here's Joyce. Yeah, not so much, but I think it's really interesting though how they are really trying to, I think, capture a lot of the same feelings of these like classic horror movies and just really pay homage to them. And also I wanted to point out that Sean Levy makes a cameo, who's an executive producer on the show, and he also directed this episode. He's actually the guy working at the morgue. And he's at the Roane County coroner's office, so he's the one who actually gets like punched in the face.
He takes the punch.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. I guess he wanted to just make that the cameo for that scene. But those are just a few things that I wanted to point out.
Okay, so now we are going to do our favorite and least favorite characters from this episode. And again, you know, there's no real metric here. It's our personal favorite or least favorite. And I know sometimes I'm going to try to pick it based on who I feel like maybe had the most heroic moment or who kind of got in the way or whatever. I will say I have a number of people that I could give favorite character to. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, for this one, do you want me to go? I'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
My favorite character in this episode is 11. She helps the boys connect with Will. She helps Mike deal with the bullies. I just love that scene so much where she like holds back Troy and makes him pee his pants, or he pees his pants, however you want to read that scene. And like it's just so good, and it's like, yeah, she is there with the boys now. Like they're now like a unit, you know, like they're the squad, and they're gonna combat evil. So it's like we've kind of built that character. So I loved her so much. Yeah,
I do not hate that choice. So I will say this: I kind of always just kind of jot them down as I go. I had written down 11, Hopper, and Jonathan. Like those were the three that I've been bouncing between. I try not to do this, but I'm gonna anyway. I try not to pick the same person that you're picking just because, but I'm gonna, because that scene with 11 freezing Troy is the best scene in the story for character growth, I think. For today. Don't get me wrong. Jonathan had a lot of good moments. Hopper had a lot of good moments, but 11 hadn't done anything like that yet.
Yeah.
Where we get to see in front of a crowd of people, she breaks out her powers, does her thing, saves the boys, makes them look good, and no one is even the wiser that she did it, except for the boys.
That's what was so
and
great.
So and then she just kind of like wipes the nosebleed. Let's roll. Let's go. And it's like, okay. It's such a huge moment for 11, who, again, doesn't have a lot of lines, just does a lot of acting with eyes and like, you know, posture. That was really cool. And I'm gonna take her as my favorite as well. Hopper could have got it. I love the scene where he's just beating the crap out of the guy to get, like, you almost sense the frustration is just boiling over. He's like, I know this guy cannot get away from me because he knows something. And Jonathan, with all of the little things that he did with the picture, trying to get Joyce to think one way and then coming to the recollection or is that the right word?
Or
coming to the realization.
Yeah.
Realization that maybe his mom isn't insane.
Yeah.
Very good, like, mini arc for Jonathan in this story. So I do like all three. I will stick with 11. And now we'll go to least. And I will say this. This is the hardest episode to pick a least favorite character from.
Yeah.
Okay. I think they used a lot less characters than in other episodes. There are less, like I said, Steve had about 4 lines. You don't have Steve's friends anymore in this.
Yeah.
Mr. Wheeler has like 1 line.
Yeah.
You don't see, like, there's a lot of focus on Joyce, Jonathan, Hopper, the boys, 11, Nancy.
Yeah.
And then Mrs. Wheeler, like, on the edge. That's really everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pick my least favorite character. I'm going to say it's Lucas. It's not Lucas's fault. I could pick Troy because Troy's a jerk.
Exactly.
But, like,
yeah,
I'm going to pick Lucas in the sense that I understand he's doing the most practical thing, but we are not in practical times. Yeah. And so he's going to come out. Yeah. He's going to come out on the side of wrong in this situation. And hopefully, I feel like after seeing 11 do her thing, he might kind of snap back into like, okay. And now he's heard Will. So I think he's on the move. Yeah. But that's all I have. I don't have a whole lot. And I mean, I'm not going to, I don't know who you're about to pick, but there aren't many bad moments here from our characters that we truly pay attention to.
Yeah, I really struggle with this. I really didn't have a least favorite either, but I guess I would say if I had to pick one, it would probably be, what was his name? O'Bannon, who was at the bar that Hop was questioning, right? It's like he was just like the kid was dead, like, end of story. It's just like, all right, dude. Yeah. I mean, I guess obviously he's getting pressure from someone. Like, it's kind of like, sort of feel bad for the guy. Like, he's probably being threatened, and clearly, like, he doesn't want to be killed or have his family in danger.
No, he doesn't.
So, but yeah, in that moment, it's like, you know, you could have thrown him a bone or tried to do the right thing, because obviously he knows something's going down. So I guess I will pick O'Bannon, even though I don't
hate that.
Yeah.
I mean, for like the like super mini side characters, O'Bannon and Troy, I think both fall into that the same way that, I mean, I picked Mr. Wheeler a while ago, and I know you picked Lonnie, and they're not core characters to this either. So, I mean, yeah, I think that's justifiable. Troy and his buddy, they're terrible. They're terrible people too. Yeah. So maybe I should pick that. But I'm gonna stick with what I said, which is Lucas, which is unfortunate because he comes around. Okay, so now we're gonna jump into the IMDb rankings, where for this we only cover 1 episode. So instead of trying to order the episodes like we do on our Friends podcast, we're just going to give this a rating for what we would rate it, and then we'll reflect based on what IMDb has rated this episode. I think I have let you go first every single time so far.
Yeah, what would you do?
So I'm gonna switch it up. I'm like jotting down on a random piece of paper the ratings that I've given episodes. And again, we know the average rating is an 8.6, so I will keep that in mind. I gave the first episode an 8.3, then the second one a 9.3, then the second one an 8.3, and then last week I gave it an 8.7. I don't think this was as good as last week's episode. I think last week's episode, like with Barb in the pool and a couple other moments, had a few more like gripping scenes that kept you in it. But this one told a lot of great story. So I'm going to say an 8.5, which I feel like you have said every single time except for one maybe. But I'm going to go to an 8.5 this week. I think not as good as last week's. Better than the second one.
Nice. Yeah. So I'm actually decided to kick it up a notch and elevate my rating. I'm up to an 8.8, with this episode. I loved this episode so much with like the trauma of the opening scene, the muffled audio, all the great music, Will being able to actually be seen through the wall. So you know he's there. Hopper just being a badass, like the whole connection between Nancy and Jonathan, like joining forces. You realize, like to your point, what you said earlier, it's like you don't always see a character being so like flexible to be able to say, hey, this is where I'm at right now. Oh, wait, you just gave me new information. I'm going to shift gears. And like, now I understand. It's like, I love seeing that like within a character where they can actually like change their mind, right? Because I feel like you see people being static so often in shows in real life. But
we've talked at length about the amount of how much we both love Steve's character arc over the course of the series.
Yes.
Jonathan had like a little mini arc just in this episode, and showing that development was really cool. So
and finally,
so what did you say? 8.8?
Yeah, I mean, for me, really, like what tops it all off is just finding the fake body, right? Like that moment where Hop is carving open. It's like, oh my God, he's gonna carve into Will. It's like, oh no, there's cotton in there. I mean, that is like mind-blowing, like crazy town. Like that is, then you just know the depth of this conspiracy. It's crazy. So I just love that. So I said like, 8.8. Yeah.
The last like 5 minutes of this episode are crazy. Between Joyce seeing Will, Elle with the radio and like blacking out, the dark room observation, Hopper breaking into the corner, like all very cool. Like Lonnie showing up at the end seems very out of place. But like
we'll find out more
the
about
rest
that.
of it, we sure will. The rest of it though seems very cool. So I am not surprised. It's not my favorite episode, but the story that's told is great. And I think there's just less of the action scenes that kind of will give it a better rating. So let's see here. Chapter 4. Ooh, the crowd agrees with you.
Oh,
it is an 8. It's an 8.9. 8.9, which is the highest rated episode to date.
Interesting. Yeah, man, it was because you realize those that conspiracy is strong within this show. There is something going on here.
Yeah, I mean the most like gripping scene in this one was like the cable with the hook coming back.
That's right. I didn't even mention that. That's right. No, oh my God.
That's the most like I know on Netflix, I think it's listed as horror. And I keep saying, like, this is not horror. I would call it thriller. I would call it sci-fi, maybe. But I wouldn't classify it as horror. But there are some
I think so.
horror-y.
No, it is.
Like, it's above thriller in some small capacity. But, like, I think of horror, and I think of, like, Freddy Krueger and stuff like that. It's not like that.
But no, I mean, think about,
it's not like Saw.
No, but it's no. Saw is more like gore, but yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
But horror. I mean, because think of all like the references they're drawing to Poltergeist and like all these other Shining, and these are all horror movies, right? Like these are classic horror films, and so it is.
Like if you showed a kid The Shining today, they'd be like, "It's not even scary."
That's I don't know if that's true. Is that true?
Oh, it's true.
There's blood literally flowing down the hallway.
Yeah,
there's
but
a man
it's like,
literally chasing after you with an axe. Oh,
The Shining has more like cerebral specs to it as well, where you're like, I think today kids just like they're not even paying attention to it. So
that's sad.
It's just not the same.
Oh my God, one of my favorites.
I know.
Oh
I know.
Gosh. Yeah.
I know.
All right.
Okay, so thanks so much for listening to the We Run on Reruns podcast. Again, we really appreciate all the support you guys are giving us on our socials. So please follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. If you could just find a way to click that share button and send it to someone new this week, we would really, really appreciate it. You go check out our website, werunonreruns.com. For Amanda, this is Eric. Enjoy watching episode 5 of Stranger Things this week. Happy rerunning, everybody.
See you later, guys.